Good morning, everybody. How we doing? How we doing? Are we doing good? Are we doing good? Oh yeah. We got audio. We got audio. Well, if it's 7 o'clock on a Monday, it is time for the Amazing Grace Sports Network NFL Roundup. This week is Week 4. All the winners and losers in Week 4 in the NFL we're going to discuss. And there are some notable upsets, and there's some, well, not so notable upsets. There are some games that went just the way that they were supposed to go, and games that didn't go the way they were supposed to go. Let's start off with the marquee matchup of the week, which was the Kansas City Chiefs, your Kansas City Chiefs, my Kansas City Chiefs, our Kansas City Chiefs, going into Tampa Bay. They take on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady. Now, both teams were coming off a losing game. Kansas City had lost to the Indianapolis Colts in an upset of the week, year, month, and Tampa Bay had dismally failed to beat Green Bay. I think they played it in Tampa and they lost. That being said, the game was on. And right from the beginning, I think within a minute, Kansas City scored a touchdown, and that pretty much set the tone. Kansas City would win that game 41-31. They scored 14 points in the first quarter, 14 points in the second quarter, that's 28 points, 10 points in the third, that's 38. And gratefully and thankfully for Tampa Bay, they only scored 3 more points in the fourth quarter, giving them a 41 score, 41 points. And Tampa Bay scored 3 points in the first quarter, 14 points in the second, 7 points in the third, and just 7 in the fourth. That 28-point lead was just a little bit too much. Actually, it was 28-10 after the first half, but it pretty much sealed the deal. Tom Brady, how did Tom Brady do? Why don't we look at some stats here? Okay, look at some stats of this game. Pat Mahomes threw for 249 yards, and I don't know how many touchdowns. God knows how many, but it was a whole lot. And then Tom Brady threw for 385 yards with 3 touchdowns. So Pat Mahomes threw for 249 with 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady threw for 385 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Pat Mahomes had an interception, and not that it mattered much because they had a heck of a lead and they were just playing lights out. My thing that I took away from this game is that Tampa Bay has a hard time with their offensive line, keeping Tom Brady upright. And even despite that, he threw for 385 yards. At the gym this morning, at 5 this morning, we had our usual scuttlebutt session about, the usual thing. And being in Boston at this particular time, there's still a lot of Patriots fans. And Patriots fans, you lost yesterday too. You thought you were going to pull an upset. Nah, was not going to happen. No, Green Bay prevailed, and now you're 1-3. But I heard the same old refrain: Tom Brady's too old. Then came the gossip: Tom Brady and his Giselle having such a hard time that it's affecting his play on the field to the tune of 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, no relationship is perfect. I am on my second marriage, and it's not perfect. From the outside, it looks great. And from the outside, it is great. From the inside, it is great sometimes. And at other times, it is pure, absolute confusion. What is going on here? Now, you would think I would know what I'm doing after all these years of being an adult. I'm not going to go into how many years I've been an adult, but people keep growing, emotions keep changing, and things happen. I don't know what's going on with Tom and Giselle's relationship, and I don't want to speculate. And for all those who were saying that this is affecting his play, yes, your relationship always affects your play. But I guess if everything was perfect, he would have threw for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. So let's hope everything is perfect for Tom and Giselle, and they move on from there. That being said, let's move on to the next games and the other games and the upset of the day, which really isn't an upset. It kind of like proves my point about Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, was that the New York Jets went in to Pittsburgh and beat the snot out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, they didn't actually beat the snot out of them, but they won. And people say to me, bada boom, bada bang about Mike Tomlin. And hold on just a second. I have to plug in my phone because it's going dead, and then we won't have any results. Just stay with me right there. I'll be right back. Bada boom, the sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow. Okay, we're back. The New York Jets beat the Steelers 24-20. And they did this by scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter. They should have actually been further ahead in the game, but because New York is not used to winning and closing things out as far as getting touchdowns and things that really score the points, not field goals, they managed to let Pittsburgh hang in there. But what the heck is going on? I mean, here's the thing. Mitch Trubisky was knocked out the game. I believe he was, from what I could tell. And they put in this second guy, Pickett. Now, Mitch was 7 for 13 with 84 yards and 1 interception. And Pickett went 10 for 13 with 3 interceptions. Now, I always have this conversation with people who have a problem with the starting quarterback. They say, well, we got this rookie on the bench, or they got this rookie on the bench, and they ought to play him. Have these people been around any period of time? Have they studied the NFL for any period of time? Putting a rookie quarterback in the game does not solve the problem. The problem is bigger than the rookie quarterback 90% of the time. So putting a rookie quarterback in is not going to get the job done. The problem is not the quarterback. The problem starts at the top. It starts with the management, and it starts with the coaching. That's the problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Does anybody want to hear this? Hello. The problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers could be Mitch Trubisky. I mean, he is a journeyman. Whoever thought that he would be a producing quarterback in the NFL should have got that thought out of their head after the first 3 years of watching them with the Chicago Bears. Not that the Chicago Bears are a stellar organization by any means of anybody's imagination. But let's face it, Mitch Trubisky is no Aaron Rodgers. He's no Tom Brady. He's no Justin Herbert. He's no Pat Mahomes. He's no Josh Allen. He's no Trevor Lawrence or Deshaun Watson. Not even a Jacoby Brissett. And it's some guy had to, my cousin, Kenny, had the nerve to compare him to Ryan Tannehill. I mean, that's really doing the service of Ryan Tannehill. There's no way. He's not Ryan Tannehill. That being said, that starts at the top when you decide that this guy is going to be your starting quarterback, but it also permeates through the rest of the organization in your personnel decisions. How are you making your personnel decisions? Why are you making them? I can't answer that. Those guys are in a tough position, but I think with enough time in the NFL as Tomlin has had, he could make a better decision than that, but he didn't. So the Jets won that game, and it didn't matter if they put a rookie quarterback in, which everyone always clamors for. That guy, the rookie quarterback sitting on the bench, is going to be the savior in the NFL in his first year. That is the most ridiculous, stupid thing that I keep hearing year after year. Give that kid a year or two of seeing how fast the NFL is, what the NFL can do to somebody so that he can get himself ready. That was one of the upsets of the day. The Dolphins, if we can say that's an upset, lost to the Bengals. Now, the Dolphins had two attacks knocked out the game. Now, I've been watching Tua Tagovailoa, my son, Kasim is going to wreck me on this one because I always mispronounce it. My son lives in Hawaii, and he's here in Boston right now visiting, but he knows how to pronounce it. I just call him Two Tags. Two Tags is too small to play in the NFL. He's not sturdy enough. Well, all these people talking about concussion protocol and things of that sort. The guy who threw Tua Tagovailoa down was lying on the ground. It's not like he had a lot of leverage. Tags might not be long for the NFL. And maybe that's the problem more than anything else. So when we talk about concussion protocol, and yes, he was definitely concussed the week before, but he was just pushed to the ground on that particular time. And he didn't duck and roll. So the NFL is not for everybody. Just because you're a highly touted running back or quarterback or whatever the case may be does not mean that you can actually star in the NFL, because it is a rough and tumble sport. You have to give props to people like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, people who have been around for a period of time, Matt Ryan, and know how to take care of themselves in the manner that they need to play in the NFL. And you have to have a type of body that can handle the bumps and bruises that are going to come with the NFL. That being said, Tua Tags was knocked out of the game, and they put in Teddy Bridgewater, and Teddy Bridgewater could not bridge the gap. The Dallas Cowboys, yes, that Lone Star State Dallas managed to get a win over the New York Giants. Now, nobody's saying the New York Giants are gangbusters, but they did win 3 games. I believe they are 3 games. Let me just check onto that. No, the Giants actually just won 2 games, so I blew it. They had a chance to go 3-0, and they lost last week. So now the Cowboys and the Giants are now 2-1 in that division. So that division is always a dogfight. It has the Giants, it has the Cowboys, it has Washington, and one more team that I can't even remember because my mind is not on it right now, but we'll get to that. Dallas managed to pull that out, and now people are happy. But here's the problem. The problem is that they have a quarterback who actually looks like a quarterback. Not like Dak Prescott, who looks like he's always indecisive about what he is going to do or what he should be doing. Who he's throwing to. He doesn't know how to look off receivers, fake the receivers. I saw Pat Mahomes do a play last night where he looked at one receiver and drew the attention over to that receiver and then threw to somebody else. He looked at Kelsey, pointed at Kelsey, the defense started running over there, and then he threw it to somebody who was open. That type of thing. This guy, Rush, I believe he's a second-year guy, second or third-year guy. He might be the guy to keep in there. Jerry Jones, you paid Dak Prescott too soon. He's never been able to show that he can stay healthy, and now you're stuck with him in a balloon contract when you got a guy at quarterback who should be the quarterback of your team. In a very, 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 very boring game because of the 2 quarterbacks involved, the San Francisco 49ers and the Broncos played. No, wait a second. No, that's wrong. Guys, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I knew that they were 3-1. The Cowboys played the Commanders, and they beat the Commanders. Okay, now the Cowboys are 3-1. Let's just move on. In the game that went down to the wire, I'm still like saying, wow, I can't believe I was looking at week 3. Okay, but in a game that went down to the wire, the Buffalo Bills prevailed over the Baltimore Ravens. Now, John Harbaugh, I believe that's the coach's name. Is it Jim or John? I think it's John. Always has to be the smartest guy. He's a Kyle Shanahan type of guy, a Sean McVay type of guy, except on the defensive side. And he chose to go for it on 4th down, and I think there was only a minute or something to go in the game. 4th down and goal instead of kicking the field goal. I didn't think it was that bad of a move, but in retrospect, him being the coach, he should have known better. He should have went for the 3 points. That way, it would have forced Buffalo, when they got the ball back, to have to go for 3 points or a touchdown, but it would have put more pressure on them. As it is, they had no pressure, and they went down the field, and all they had to do was get in field goal range in order to win the game, which they did, and they won the game with, I think, no seconds on the clock, kicking a field goal to win it 23-20. The Philadelphia Eagles took on the Jacksonville Jaguars. In Philadelphia is a force to be reckoned with. They are 4-0. The Jaguars had surprised the Chargers last week and another team the week before, and had won 2 games in a row, something the Lions haven't managed to do at all. That being said, the Jaguars were on the roll, and they came into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. But playing in Philadelphia against the Eagles, against a team that is pretty darn good, and one of the best of the young quarterbacks that is showing this stuff, I think, is a second-year guy, Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is proven to be the best out of the Trey Lance, Justin Fields conversation that came out in that particular year. And he shows that he can throw the ball as well as run the ball, and run the ball as well as throw the ball. He's tricky. He's decisive. He's got a great motion with his arm. He can hit anybody, any place, anywhere. And he's proven to be a guy going forward that the NFL is going to have to reckon with. So the Jaguars lost 21-29 in Philadelphia. The Eagles had home field advantage, and the Jaguars stayed in it to the end. They couldn't overcome a disastrous second quarter in which Philadelphia scored 20 points and then scored 9 in the fourth quarter, winning the game. Trevor Lawrence was 11 for 23. He's a second-year guy who was showing this stuff, but he was picked number 1. I'm not too sure that he's going to do what they want him to do. Jalen Hurts was 16 for 25 for 204. He did throw an interception. That being said, they still won the game. In a game of pick'em, the Carolina Panthers played host to the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona, with Kyler Murray, has been on the cusp of being a good team, possibly a great team for the past year, for what he has shown. But LaShawn McCoy said that Kyler Murray plays like a high school quarterback, and he does to an extent, and he has to get better. But it didn't matter in this case because on the other side was Baker Mayfield, who also plays like a high school quarterback. And the Cardinals high school quarterback beat the Panthers high school quarterback, and the game was 26-16. Let's move on to the Titans and the Colts. Now the Titans, they've had a rough year. They started off by getting the butt kicked by Buffalo, possibly one of the better, top 3 teams in the league. And then I think they lost to Jacksonville or the Giants. They were upset. But now they've won 2 in a row because they beat the Colts yesterday, 24-17. The Titans did not score a point in the fourth quarter and managed to hang on to the game, 24-17. Tannehill was not impressive, 17 for 21. I mean, actually, he only did not complete 4 passes, but only for 137 yards. So there's not too much yards after the catch. But the Colts with Matt Ryan, they battled, and they lost. They are going to have a problem this year, and the coach should be looked at very, very closely. Now, in the game that I thought was being played in New Orleans, but wasn't, because they said that the Saints were the home team, it was actually played in London. The Vikings beat the Saints. Now, the Vikings have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. And who do the Saints have? Oh, Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton needs to be with the Bengals. Did anybody think that the team could win with Andy Dalton? I was going to say any team, but let's just say the Saints. Do you think your team can win with Andy Dalton? Andy Dalton begs the question of, why is he still in the league? Well, he is a backup, and that's the reason why he's still in the league. Well, the guy who's the starter is Jameis Winston, Why is he still in the league? He should be a backup. Jameis Winston should be a backup, and Andy Dalton should be a backup on another team because he should not see the light of day unless the starting quarterback gets hurt. By the Saints having Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, you have two backup quarterbacks. Who's running that organization? Sean Payton. The New Orleans misses you so bad. They have no idea of what you brought to that organization. Now that you left, they have Jameis Winston as the starting quarterback, and Andy Dalton is the backup quarterback, and that bodes ill for the New Orleans organization. The Giants beat the Bears, but who doesn't? I mean, really. They went from Mitch Trubisky to, I just said the guy's name, Justin Fields. Now, when Mitch Trubisky was there and they drafted Justin Fields, they were clamoring about putting Justin Fields in there, looking like this. And here we go again. It could be the quarterback, or it could be the organization. Why don't you guys think about maybe the organization is letting you down more than the quarterback? Mitch Trubisky is a serviceable quarterback. He's not a star, but if you get a good team around him and you scheme it right, he's got a great arm and he has pretty good touch, but you got to give him protection. And Chicago Bears did not do that. Now, the Chargers played the Texans, Houston Texans. And the Chargers, Justin Herbert threw for 340 yards. Talk about having a field day. He wants to play the Texans every freaking week. Give me the Texans. Let me pad my stats. And the Texans, they have a quarterback by the name of Mills. You ever heard of him? There's a reason why. Well, Mills actually threw for 246 yards. He had 2 touchdowns and he had 2 interceptions. The Texans are going nowhere and nowhere very slowly. Don't look for the Texans to make the playoffs. Now, in the upset, which is really an upset, the Jets beating the Steelers was not really an upset because based upon what I've seen of the Steelers, anybody, they're fair game for anybody. I don't see anybody that should feel great about, if you think you're an up and coming team beating the Steelers, you should beat them. They work on nothing but rah, rah, rah. Let's go, boom, ba, ba. Let's go get them. There seems to be no cohesive plan to anything they do. That being said, the upset of the day was the Atlanta Falcons beating the Cleveland Browns. Now, even with the backup quarterback, Jacoby Brissett, I expected the Browns to go in and beat the Falcons. Now, I have cousins in Georgia who said they were glad that Matt Ryan was gone, that Marcus Mariota is going to bring new life, and they need a running quarterback and blah, blah, blah. Turns out they might be right. Yes, turns out they might be right. Marcus Mariota is looking really darn good. Hats off to Marcus Mariota for all the time you put in, the injuries you suffered, and the way that you look now. Hats off to you. You're unbelievable. You're looking fantastic. The NFL is a tough sport, and you were doing a great job. You went against a great Browns team, a very good Browns team, a very good defense, and you handled them very effectively. Now, I think we can move on to the Raiders. The Raiders who finally won a game. Yes, the Raiders are now 1-3. They took on the Broncos with Russell Wilson, and there's no way that Russell Wilson should ever win another game in the NFL if their defense know what they're doing. Just rush him up the middle. He can't really run anymore, and he darn sure can't throw. I don't know about that $40 million that the Broncos are paying him. There goes with the front office again. Is it the quarterback or is it the front office? Well, when you're the front office and you pay a quarterback who can't get it done $40 million, it's more your fault than his fault. You should have read the label before you bought the product. The Green Bay Packers managed to pull one out over the Patriots, the New England Patriots. Now, this could have been the game of the week if the Patriots had won. which everybody in New England was on their seats, on the edge of their seats, grabbing their pillows and their couches, thinking they were going to do it. Wrong. Brian Hoyer, who's a backup and has been a backup for I don't know how many years, should not have been in the game and quickly got put out the game, which forced the New England Patriots to use a backup quarterback by the name of Bailey Zappi. Bailey is an American football player for New England. He's a rookie. And Bailey was Bailey. And Bailey almost won it because for some reason, Green Bay Packers couldn't get a rush going. I mean, he had all day to stand back there and throw to whoever he wanted to. And he managed to really give him a scare. But at 23 years old, out of Western Kentucky University, drafted, I don't know when he was drafted, 2022, but I don't know at what round or, what number he was drafted, but he's there. And Belichick did the old thing of, well, there's going to be a letdown. And there was. There had to be a letdown on the Green Bay Packers because Mac Jones, the starting quarterback, was out. And everybody knows Brian Hoyer is just fodder. But the worst thing that Green Bay did was knock Brian Hoyer out the game. Because when they did, they really had more of a letdown. They didn't really expect anything to happen. And this guy, Bailey Zappi, came in and made some throws and almost pulled out the game. But it didn't happen. So sorry, New England fans. Are you missing Tom Brady yet? Let us move on before I get pelted with BBs and bananas or whatever the case may be when they see me walking out in the streets while I'm still here in Boston. That about wraps it up. The Rams take on the 49ers tonight. They'll cover the Bills and the Ravens, Jaguars and Eagles, Commanders and Cowboys, Browns versus Falcons, and Now let's move on. Let's move on to what happened. Well, there were winners and losers. And there are always winners and losers in life. But you can win one week and you can lose another week. But if you win more than you lose, you're a winner. And if you lose more than you win, you're a loser. So you, sports fans, get to decide whether you're going to be a winner or loser. So let's start off by being a winner today. Let's win more than we're going to lose. Let's put a smile on your face. Let's give a handshake to people. Let's pick up the trash around your house. Let's pick up the trash as you walk into your Dunkin' Donuts. You see some trash out there, don't walk by it. Pick it up. Throw it in the trash can. There's always trash cans outside of your coffee shop, your diner, wherever you're going. Be a winner. Be a winner. Start at the little stuff and be a winner. Make a difference. Make a change. Start at the small stuff. And it blossoms into the big things. When you give something, you get something back. When you do something, something gets done to you. Now, if you do something positive gets done to you. So, from Amazing Grace Sports Network, I am Clay Mars. That's the roundup for week 4 in the NFL. And as always, we bring you the passion, the spirituality, and the unity of sports. And we boil it all the way down to you, into what makes a difference in your life. What can make a difference in your family's life? It's not all about sports. Sports is a metaphor for life. So let's get on with life and let's enjoy it. I'll talk to you later. I am going to do that Serena Williams video this week, and we're going to recount how Venus and Serena came in as the Bomb Sisters. Actually, they were called something else. They were unbelievable, and we will get to that. But ladies and gentlemen, sports fans everywhere, all around the world, from Algeria to Zimbabwe, enjoy yourselves. Be good to yourselves. And I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.